is so cute and you're gonna love it. Look at my catch. It perfectly fits, which is amazing. Grinch lime vest. Unbelievably soft and squishy. Hi guys, how you doing? Welcome back to the Smash Knits Knitting Podcast. My name is Ash, aka Smash, and here we talk about all things knitting. So we are up to episode 17 now, which is super exciting. This one has been a hard one to film. I'm going to be completely honest with you. This is my third attempt at filming this podcast. So the first time I tried to film, I didn't take any notes. I was kind of in a rush. It's been so busy with like lots of Christmas events on. And so I just kind of was like, yeah, I'll be fine. I'll go in with no notes. And I was just like all over the place, erratic. I wasn't really telling you guys anything. I was, mental blanking all the time. It was not good. Then yesterday I filmed and I was like, yes, this is good. I have my notes. I'm all ready. I'm like, yay, yay, yay. And then I sit there and I record for an hour and a half, maybe even longer, probably 2 hours. And then I look at my footage and somehow I had accidentally adjusted the frame rate on my camera. And that meant that everything looked like it was laggy or blurry, and it was just devastating. And I had a pretty good cry about it because I was pretty devastated, to be completely honest. That's the stuff that you kind of don't see behind the camera. It's just all the times that you kind of fail. I feel like a lot of the time this feels really natural for a lot of YouTubers just sitting in front of a camera, but it is hard sometimes when you just don't have very much videography knowledge, and so you're playing with these cameras and you accidentally change something that you really don't know what it means, and so then you end up stuffing everything up. But hopefully this one goes well. Obviously if you're listening to me now, then it's obviously gone fine enough. But before I get any further, I would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land, the Boonwurrung people of the Kulin Nation, and pay my respects to elders past and present. So as you can tell, I'm in the Christmas spirit. I've got my lovely Christmas tree over here, and John and I have our little stockings, which are so cute. We've had these for I think this will be the 3rd year that we're using them, and I just love Christmas. I get very much into the Christmas spirit. I'm not religious personally, but I do like the tradition of celebrating Christmas. And I've actually got my stick season sweater on today. I haven't worn this in a while because it's summer here in Australia, so it's been really warm, but today is a random 19-degree day, so it's quite cold. So I'm like, yes, I get to pull out this sweater. And I didn't actually realize that it's quite festive because it's beautiful and green. I love this. This is a pattern by Creabea or Rybka Clow, and it's amazing. It's this textured yoke, drop shoulder sweater with 2x2 ribbing, and there's beautiful kind of ribbing details. I love this jumper. I really want to make another one. It's so gorgeous, and I love this yarn. And the yarn is Owl of Athena, Athens DK in the color Gentleman's Moss, and it's it's beautiful. It's a very luxurious sweater, and every single time I wear it I get compliments on it, so absolutely love it. And I'm so glad to be wearing this again because it's been so hot. A couple days ago it was 35 degrees, so I'm very glad I can wear this inside without sweltering. Yeah, and I've just been getting into the Christmas spirit. So I've just been watching Vlogmas. Yeah, I wasn't going to watch any Vlogmas this year just because I don't really watch a lot of vlogs in general, but I'm getting more into them. And I saw Laura Penrose, she did Vlogmas last year, and I think she's doing it for a few years now actually. And I started to watch hers and I got really into the spirit. And then Creabea was doing them as well. I watched hers, and then Hayley Space and Morgan Unraveled were doing weekly vlogs, and I really enjoyed that because it's interesting to see more of the northern hemisphere Christmas, where it's cold and very cute and festive, and whereas over here it's warm and sunny, and it's so interesting seeing the two, which yeah, I've just been really enjoying. So I've been watching those, and then yeah, I've just been jam-packed with Christmas events. And even because I think it's also gets really busy here because in spring, leading up to summer and like Christmas, you've got all of like wedding season. So you've got like weddings to go to, hens, like just those kind of events. And then you get straight into the Christmas season. And I've had like, you know, like Friendsmas and like Knitmas with my knitting group. That was really cute. We like played like Bad Santa or like White Elephant, I think, where you like steal. Everyone bought like a mini skein or like something knitting related and we were stealing. And I'll get into that later because I was robbed. Anyway. Yes, so we've done that. I had my work Christmas party, which was really great. That was on a sweltering hot day, but we went to a bunch of wineries and that was fabulous. So good. And it's just been super busy. Oh yeah. And then a couple nights ago, there's like this place near us that has like these man-made canals where all the houses are like on the water and you can drive your boat through there and look at all the Christmas lights. So John went with John's parents on their boat and did that, and that was really special and that was really nice. John couldn't make it, unfortunately, because he was working, but I went. Yes. So yeah, it's been super busy time. So I did want to get this podcast out earlier, but just didn't work out that way, unfortunately. But hopefully I can get this out before Christmas. That is the goal. So now I'm going to shamelessly plug my Instagram. So if you aren't already following me on Instagram, my Instagram is smash.knits, and there I just share more regular updates of the projects and knitting things that I am working on. So if you're interested in seeing more regular updates, because I post a podcast approximately once every 4 weeks, you know, once a month, I have more frequent updates on there. So feel free to check me out over on smash.knits. I am also running the KAL from there. So me and Sarah from Sarah's Hand Makes are running a KAL. So it is called the Opposites Attract KAL. And what it is it's kind of just an excuse for you to use a yarn color or like say a technique or something in regards to knitting that you usually wouldn't use, kind of like push you out of your comfort zone, because like we call it the Opposites Attract KAL because both Sarah and I have very different color palettes when it comes to our knitwear, and we were really attracted to each other's color palettes even though they weren't our own. So we kind of thought, oh, it'd be fun if we just like swapped color palettes for a bit and see how that go. And then she had the idea of the KAL and it was just so great. So it's been really great over there. I'll put a link in the description down below if you would like to join. It's running until like the 17th of February, so you've got plenty of time. We accept like all whips and things like that. It doesn't have to be a new cast on. It's really fun and it's just been really great seeing everyone's projects. It's been a bit busy, so I haven't been as responsive as I have wanted to, but I'm hoping in the new year then I'll have some more time to like really get into it. But I have two different projects that I've got for the Opposites Attract KAL that I get to show you today, so that is exciting. Lastly, as always, everything that I talk about today will be linked down below. I will also include my Ravelry so you can have a look at the projects if I've missed anything or you're wanting like yarn lengths and stuff like that. All of that will be in the description down below. I will also include a Ravelry bundle. So here on the Smash Knits Knitting channel, we are a size inclusive space. So I have compiled a bunch of patterns that are size inclusive that I've also linked down below. So now that we've gotten through all of that, let's get into the finished objects because I have so much to show you. Even whips, I have so much you guys haven't seen. It's been crazy already. Let's get into it. Now I'm going to apologize if the lighting is a bit skew, if it's overcast and it keeps going like sunny, overcast. So if the lighting changes a little bit, hopefully it's not too much because I'm filming like quite early in the morning. It should be fine. But anyway, so the first finished object that I want to show you today is so cute and you're going to love it. It's so cute. This, I was inspired to make this by Handmade by Florence. I think she made a video about like gift knits or something like that, or she mentioned in her podcast or whatever. But she made the Rybka pouch by the Rat and Sea Witch, and it was so cute. It's this little fish pouch that's kind of like a keychain pouch thing. And it has like garter stitch on the bottom and it's like a little button eye and like a little eye cord stitch, and it's so cute. So I really wanted to make that because I thought it was so adorable, because I thought it would be a good kind of like Christmas gift for my friends, like a little handmade gift. This is the first one that I made, It's so cute. Oh, it's upside down. So this is the first one I made. It's this little like minty green fish. It's so cute. Oh my god, it's so adorable. I'm so obsessed with it. So the way that this is made is you knit you knit it flat. So you knit like these two panels and then you crochet, like single crochet them together. I have never crocheted before other than doing like a provisional crochet cast on. That's about the extent of my crochet experience. I've never like seamed anything together using crochet, and I couldn't find the right size hook, so it is a little bit messy. It's like, especially around the tail, I didn't really know how to do it. It's like a very odd shape, but you don't seam it the whole way up because you leave a little bit, like about 10 rows or so that you can like fold this over and seam it together. And that way you have like a channel for the I-cord to go through. And then the I-cord just like cinches it up. And then you've got a cute little fish. And I'm super obsessed with how cute this is. I knit this to the exact specifications that the Rat and Sea Witch specifies in her pattern. It is a paid for pattern. It's not a free pattern. And I think that smaller size is more suited for a like AirPod case or something, but I'm just going to use this for like lip balm. I think it's so cute. Now in the instructions, she doesn't give you any instructions on how to do the I-cord. She just says like knit an I-cord until however many long. I wish she did, since it's a paid for pattern. Like, I know it's not hard to do and it's very simple, but like having to like then Google how to do it, like search on YouTube, sorry, how to do it is kind of like annoying when it's like, oh, I paid for this pattern, you should just include it, even though it is so simple. But anyway, that's just a tiny pet peeve. The rest of the pattern was really good. It had like illustrations to show you like where not to sew up and stuff like that. I really liked it. And oh, it's just so cute. It's super cute and I'm super obsessed with it. Then I really wanted to make a longer one because I wanted one to fit like my hand sanitizer in, because like, you know, you can never not have hand sanitizer. And so that's when I made this one. This one is my favorite. I'm absolutely obsessed with this one. But like, come on, look at this. Oh my god, it's a rainbow fish. Look how gorgeous that is. Oh my god, it's a little rainbow fish. It's so cute. This one I made a lot longer. As you can see, like, that is a lot longer. I think this is more I didn't do it. There's like another size in there called the pencil case size. I don't know if, I think I'd knit just more than that. But they're so cute. And this one fits my hand sanitizer. See? If I can do this. And then you just cinch it and then you've got a little fish. Oh my god, it's so cute. Oh, like, look. Anyway. It's just so cute and I'm so obsessed with it. Yeah, and they can just like hang off your bag really easily. I feel like I'm like, look at my catch in the viewfinder. Oh, I'm just obsessed with them. They're so, so cute. Now, the yarn that I used for these ones were like these Little Woollie Makes Scrappy packs. So Little Woollie Makes is a yarn store that's near me, and Julie at Little Woollie Makes like takes hand dyed skeins and like winds them down into little 10-gram cakes and then sells them as scrappy packs of about 12 of them, so you get like 120 grams. And so I bought one of those quite a while ago, and so I had these two colors in there. It doesn't have like specifications on what the yarn is. It's 4-ply obviously, but she doesn't tell you like the color or the brand or like what it is. So I can't tell you, unfortunately, what these yarns are, but they are so cute, and I just thought, oh, this is a perfect project because they're like small and little that I can use this with. But in the pattern, it does ask you to pair a 4-ply with a lace, and so I used some leftover lace I had. So this one that I used for like what I'm calling the rainbow fish, the rainbow fish. That one I used some leftover Gepard Kids Seta, which is 70% mohair and 30% silk. And this is left over literally from the first ever beanie I think I ever made. And I've just had like a tiny amount that I have had no idea what to do with. And luckily these two paired so perfectly together, so I was able to use them in this little fish. And then for my other one, I had some like lots left over of my Lacy Fluff by Little Woollie. So that's like their brand Mohair. Same composition in this beautiful color called Fresh, and those pair so well together. And I had heaps left over from when I knit my very varied vest. So it just like, oh, looks so flawless. It's so cute. Like the colors, not the actual thing. Like you can definitely tell I got better at crocheting, like compared to this one and this one, like around the tail. Like you definitely tell I got better, but it's still not like perfect. Like there's still some like weird puckering in the back, but we just don't look at that. We just won't look at that. They're so cute, and like no one's gonna be like with a magnifying glass up to my little fish. Now I was planning on making these, like I said before, for my friends as like little Christmas gifts, but then I realized like, oh, I have my close friends and I have my book club girlies, and then I was like, ooh, I don't know, let's see how long it takes. This takes longer than you think. So Florence mentioned that she could do it in like about an hour. I think she said like an hour or so. Not me. I'm slow or something, because this took me way longer than an hour. Because when you think about it, you got to knit 2 panels, and then you got to crochet them the side, then you got to like sew down this little bit, and then you got to make the I-cord and thread the I-cord through. Then you got to sew on the little button eye. Like there's a lot of components for this little guy. Like it's not as easy as you would think. It's not hard, but it's just like lots of fiddly little bits. So I say you could make one of these in a night, yes, but I wouldn't say an hour. Definitely not an hour. So I ended up not making any for my friends, and I've just made these 2 for myself, and then I'll make them something else. Or well, I did make them something else that you'll see next. But yes, these are my cute little fish. I am super obsessed with them. I love them so much. I definitely will be making more, and I probably make them more for like birthdays. That way it's kind of like more spread out rather than making like 17 in the month of December. But yes, I would recommend this pattern. It is really cute. It is paid for, but I feel like there's like quite a lot of things to consider that I understand why it's paid for. Oh yeah, and these are knit on 3mm needles. So that's one good thing about these, is that because they are flat, you don't have to worry about like using magic loop or having like a small circular needle or dealing with DPNs. You can just knit them flat on like a comfortable needle size for you. So that's one thing I actually really did like about them as well, is that you knit them flat, so it's a bit more comfortable on your hands. It doesn't give you as much strain. So the next one I'm going to show you is again another kind of little accessory. So last year I made, all my friends, all the people at work, little knitted bauble ornaments, which were really, really cute. And I knew this year I wanted to do something similar, but I kind of left it to last minute. So I was like, oh, I want something small and quick. Those were all knit in fingering weight, and I wanted something knit in DK. And I watched Sarah's like small gift knits video, which was really good. And I was like looking around on the internet. I was going to make this star, but then I thought, oh, it looks a bit complicated. And then I saw someone on Instagram, I'm pretty sure, made the PetiteKnit Christmas caramel, which is this like gorgeous little mini bonbon. Like it's knit in DK. It's so cute. And I was like, yep, that's a free pattern. I'm gonna get that and I'm gonna make that. And so I did. Now, and it's so cute. It's so adorable. So I made mine as ornaments because I just thought that would be so cute to hang up on the tree, and they're just so cute. I'm absolutely obsessed with them. They're so cute. I just love them. I love them so much. I think it's so adorable. So essentially it's just a tube that you knit. You knit on a tube, you do some decreases and then increases here. You knit the tube and then do the exact same thing on the end and just bind off. It is super quick and super simple and very effective and super, super cute. It takes like probably about an hour. If you're a quick knitter, I'm not a quick knitter. I would say it takes you like between 1 and 2 hours to make one of these. So they're very, very quick. And that's from like stuffing it as well. I know PetiteKnit on her pattern says that you can like fill it with yarn scraps, but I just use like this kind of polyfill that you buy from like the Spotlight or like your local big box craft store, that you like fill plushies and things with, because I didn't want the yarn scrap colors to show through the little bonbons, and I just think it's so cute and so easy, so squishy and so effective. Now I've actually got one that I haven't tied up, because like you essentially just knit the tube and then you fill it and tie it. So that's what it looks like when it's like not being tied up, and that's what it looks like when it has. So you can see quite a difference. You gotta trust the process with this one, because it looks like you're like, oh, that looks ugly, and then you're like, oh no, wait, it's super cute. But the yarn that I'm using for these were both out of my stash as well. I had some 4 Seasons Pure Wool, which again is from Spotlight, and this is just like 100% wool DK. It's more like a heavy DK yarn, affordable. I had it like left over from my Stella quilt cushion. I have lots of this stuff, I think, because I was going to make another one but never ended up doing it, so I just used this. And then I had some leftover Millpost Merino, this beautiful color called Green. It's this beautiful olive green. I actually love it. It's like, it's kind of lighter than the green that I have on now, but it's absolutely beautiful. And this is Superfine Merino, and it's so beautiful. So I had this left over literally from I think like a second or third beanie I was gonna make, and I didn't really understand gauge, and so I got a little bit lost and kind of abandoned that project. But now I have like lots of this, and I thought this would be a really cute color, because it's like not like that dark kind of foresty green, it's something else, just to create like a little bit more dimension on the tree. So I've got them up on the tree, but you can't really see because it's like kind of blurry. But yeah, super effective, super cute. I just use DPNs because you just like knit in the round, and yeah, I love them. I will definitely be making more of them. I actually made a pink version of it, but I don't have that here to show you because I already gave it away and forgot to take a photo before I gave it away. Sorry. But that was really cute. And I could see these, like, you know, if you do them in Christmas colors, they're very festive. But if you do decide to gift them as just like a little kind of like sweet, like a lolly, then you could do them in like more fun colors. Like, and also like you might be able to like get away with like not even stuffing them with stuff and like permanently like tying it up. You could always just like fill it with like lolly or something, like something fun they could open, like an actual bonbon. I could see that being very, very cute. But I love these. I'm obsessed with them, and they're a really great quick knit, and it's a free pattern. So, you know, even if you don't like it after making one, it's not like you spent any money on it. Same with the fish. Those ones are knit on 3mm needles. Oh, it's starting to rain outside. It's been on and off rain all day, so if you hear the rain in the background, I'm very sorry. Not much I can do about that. Now this finished object, it's been like a love-hate relationship. It's been more love than hate, but it was stressing me out for a little bit. I have been kind of obsessed with hot water bottles lately. I've seen the Maxine hot water bottle by Laura Penrose came out, and I really love that. And then she did like an autumn one or something like that. But really cute. I've been really loving them, and I thought, oh, I'm not going to gift knit anything other than like the little bauble, like the little, Christmas caramels. But I kind of was like, oh, I want to make something for John's mum, and I also want to make something for my mum, because I'm not going to be able to see my mum this year. She's going away over Christmas, and she lives far away from me. She lives like 6 hours from me, so I don't get to see her very often. So I thought, oh, it'd be nice to send her something. And then because John's mum always gives me yarn for like Christmas or birthdays, or just like randomly if she's like in a yarn store or something like that, I thought it would be nice to make her something out of the yarn that she has gifted me and give it back to her at Christmas. I thought that would be kind of like, you know, like a full circle moment. And so I was like, yeah, I think I'll make a hot water bottle for her, like a hot water bottle cover. But I wasn't too sure how long it would take, because I was planning originally to do the 500ml water bottle like cover from in the Maxine water bottle pattern, but I couldn't find any 500ml water bottles here in Australia. They're very hard to come by, and I wasn't going to pay like $1 million in shipping on Amazon. So I decided, oh, maybe I'll just knit like a plain, like one color hot water bottle cover in a 2-litre version, go see how long that takes me, and we'll go from there. And so this is the first one that I did, and it flew by. Like, I knit this up so quickly. So this is the first one. Oh, there's a bug. Not anymore. Sorry. So this is the first one that I made. Well, the first one, yeah. Well, this is the first one I made, which now you know I made 2, but this is the first one. So this is in a 2-litre hot water bottle cover, and it's so cute. So this pattern is the hot water bottle cover by Emily Bolduan? Not too sure, but they're, I think, associated with Maker, which is a yarn store in Melbourne, which is so beautiful. I've been to it once, and it is gorgeous, but it's a bit far from me, so I don't go there too often. But it's a free hot water bottle cover pattern for a 2-litre hot water bottle, and I knit this out of Sheba yarns. I think it's called Superwash Merino DK, and the color is 221. And when I was first gifted this yarn, I was definitely like, oh, this is not my color. I don't usually go for like those like more dark tealy, kind of dark jewel tones. I'm like, this is definitely not a color palette I'm usually drawn to. So I thought, oh, she likes that kind of color palette, so I'll make her something out of it. And I thought, oh, it actually would be a really good project for the Opposites Attract KAL, because again, it's not really my color. But as I knit it up, I really loved all this like color changing detail. Like, I just really enjoyed knitting this. So I'm actually kind of in love with this yarn, and I have more left over, and I really enjoyed knitting it and finding out like what color was going to be next. It was really fun. I really enjoyed it. It's not like a super soft yarn, but it's like soft. It feels like kind of like it would wear well. Like, it feels like enough, like not too soft where you're worried that it's gonna peel lots. I feel it feels like a good sturdy merino yarn. Now this particular hot water bottle is knit from the bottom up. So you do like, you start by doing increases, then you knit, and then you do decreases, and then you do a 2x2 little collar. It's like a little sweater. It's so adorable. I'm absolutely obsessed. But in the pattern, she has you do a Judy's Magic cast on for the bottom, but I don't like doing, one, I don't know how to do a Judy's Magic cast on, and at the time of casting this on, I just didn't have the mental capacity to learn something new. And 2, I don't really like knitting with magic loop. It's not my favorite. So and when you do that cast on, you have to knit magic loop. So I was like, nah, that's not a fan for me. So I just decided to do a crochet professional cast on, which I've done a million times when I've done an Oslo hat. So I decided to do that, and that way I could knit in the round easily with my 16-inch circulars or like 40cm circular needles, and have no issues with fussing with magic loop. I have tried it. It's not for me. I'm not saying it's bad. I know like a lot of my knitter friends do use magic loop and they love it, but I think my interchangeable needles are not suited for magic loop. I think the cable is just a bit too rigid. Like, it's flexible, but it's like a bit too rigid, whereas I think the Chiagu lace needles are probably the better option if I'm going to be doing magic loop. So one day I'll try it again with those, and it might be a totally different experience, but on the ones that I have now, I just don't like doing it. So I much prefer to use a smaller circumference circular needle. And yeah, and knit up so quickly. I was kind of like hyper fixated on getting this done, so I finished it within 2 days, really, really quickly. And then when I wanted to finish the bottom, I was like, oh, I don't know, I'm just going to do a 3 needle bind off, and that worked pretty well. Like, try and get it to focus. You can see, obviously, there's like a seam there, but I don't think it's like that big of a deal because it's a hot water bottle cover at the end of the day, and no one's gonna be like, oh, there's a seam there. Like, it was definitely a really quick way of binding off. So if you want something quick, that's a very quick way of doing it. But yeah, I really love it. It's so cool. I love the yarn. I think I want to make her like a matching pair of like mittens or a beanie or something, so that she can have like this and something else. I really, really love it. It's so cute. And then after realizing how quick that was to knit up, I decided, oh, I'm going to make a colorwork one for my mum. But at this point I was like, I don't really want to buy the Maxine hot water bottle cover. I love the pattern, like don't get me wrong, it's so beautiful. But I was like, oh, I don't know what 3 colors I would do. I don't know if I want to do 3 color work. I was like, thinking, I don't know. And then I watched Hayley's Space. She's another podcaster here on YouTube. She is based in Canberra, I think, but she's moving. No, she's based in Melbourne, but she's moving soon. Sorry. But she's really great. She's been doing Vlogmas. I've been watching her Vlogmas, and she's really, really great. I love watching her videos. And she did hot water bottle covers as well for her family, but she did the mini ones. And she had figured out that the Colourwork Cuff Club by Summer Lee. So the Colourwork Cuff Club, if you don't already know, I've spoken about it a few times on my channel, is essentially a pattern by Summer Lee that you pay once, and every single month for a year she sends you a Colourwork Cuff chart to implement into a basic vanilla sock pattern. It's really, really fun. I've been doing it I've done like 3 months now, and it's really, really great. I'm not doing December's just because I've had 2 test knits and that's enough. And I've got all these gift knits, so I just, couldn't do it this year. I meant this month, but yes, hopefully I'll be able to catch back up in January. Anyway, getting back. So she ended up using the November Colourwork Cuff chart and inputting it into the hot water bottle pattern for the minis and making these gorgeous like Fair Isle Colourwork 2-color water bottles, and it looked so gorgeous. She did one with like a deep burgundy red, and then she did the Colourwork as white, and I really liked having that lighter contrast color. Stunning. So I was like thinking, I wonder, because I've got that Colourwork chart as well, if it would suit the stitch count for this free hot water bottle pattern. And it does. It perfectly fits, which is amazing. So that's what I did. And here it is. Ah! Oh my god, it's so pretty. I'm so obsessed. Oh my god. Looks a bit wonky, but it's just because that's how it's on the water bottle cover. But oh my god, isn't it so pretty? I feel like it's giving like Christmas. It's giving Christmas, but like not too Christmassy, like not obviously Christmas. Like if you use this, it's like kind of like Nordic vibes, but it's also Christmas, if you know what I mean. And I'm just so obsessed with it. It's so gorgeous. And I love this November chart. It's probably one of my favorite charts that she's done. I love the flower one, but this one is so pretty and it's so easy to do and so intuitive. And I'm just super obsessed with how this turned out. I love it. Now, the yarn that I'm using for this one is these two. So it's the Midlands Merino by Cleckheaton in the color Tussock. And it's this really kind of like cool undertone of green brown. And then the white I'm using is Heirloom Cozy Comfort. And this is in 4115, which is like a whiter color. And this here is like 100% merino wool, but this one here, you can see it's like a bit more fluffy. The Cozy Comfort is 70% merino, 17% silk, and 12% alpaca. No, 13% alpaca, sorry. And it's really beautiful and fluffy. I wanted something like that contrasted in texture so that it just like kind of made this a bit more interesting. I don't know if you can kind of see the fluffiness, but yeah, I just wanted that little bit of contrast and texture. Now, the Midlands Merino is very, very soft. It's really lovely and feels very luxurious. And I bought this on like half price sale from Loom and Spindle when they were closing down their brick and mortar. And I kind of bought it thinking, oh, I'm going to make a scarf, but I didn't buy enough. And then I also was just like, oh, I don't know if I like this like really cool color. So I didn't really know what to do with it. And then I thought, oh, I can make a really lovely, cozy, soft hot water bottle pattern. And I have this left over. I don't know what I bought this for, but I just have like quite a few balls of this in my stash. And it's so nice and so fluffy and soft. So I thought these would pair really nice together and give that kind of like Scandi Christmas vibe without like screaming Christmas. And so that's what you've got here. Now, you might notice that the color work is not right in the middle of the hot water bottle. And there's a reason for that. When I first knit this up, it was perfectly centered. But then after blocking it, it grew like, an inch and a half, like this much. So I had to cut some out. I had to cut this out from the bottom, rip back, and then re-knit, doing decreases so that this could fit. And now I'm worried that I might have made that too small, because now it's kind of almost too small. So I'm a little bit like in two ways about it. Like, I love it. I think it's so cute. But I'm also like, it's like not in the center. But I don't think anyone will notice. I don't think my mum will care. It was just really frustrating at the time because I have to ship this to her and it won't get to her in time for Christmas because I had to fix it. So if you're using this, like this heirloom, just be warned that it does stretch quite a bit after blocking. So if you're making a sweater, just always block. I did not do a gauge swatch for this yarn. I should have, and then I would have known that it grows out quite a bit. But I think it looks alright in the end. I think it turned out fine. I think my mum will still love it. I think it's still super like soft and cozy. And I think it'll be nice because, you know, she always talks about, she's like, oh, I want to give you a cuddle. And this is kind of like, oh, she can fill this up and it'll be nice and warm and she can give me a cuddle. Because she lives in the northern Grampians, so it's cold as hell in winter there. So hot water bottle will definitely be used. Oh, another thing I want to mention is that Laura Penrose mentioned that a good way to block the hot water bottle covers is to fill them with hot water, like as if you were using them, because that'll mean it's like warm from the inside out and it'll dry and block much quicker. So that is a good tip if you're going to be making hot water bottle covers. I definitely will be making more. I want to make one for myself and I'm going to like input all of those like Summer League colorwork clubs into this free pattern because I think it's just like so cool that you can do that. So shout out to Hayley. Thank you so much for the idea. Great idea. Genius. And if you're wondering the needle sizes that I used, it is 3.5 millimeters for the main color and the ribbing. I went down a needle size just because my gauge was a bit looser, or like the yarn was a bit more of a heavy DK. And then when I did the color work, I went up again. I went to a 4 millimeter. So that was kind of like the original stitch size, just because I know that color work can sometimes stitch in. So yes. Okay, so that wraps up all of our finished objects. It's so crazy that these 3 finished objects you haven't seen before. And then I think I have 2 whips that you haven't seen either. So this is just, I'm starting off I'm finishing the year with a bunch of new stuff. I don't know. I should be finishing the stuff I already have, which I will be, and I'll need to, and you'll find out that soon. But anyway, let's get into the whips. Alrighty, so the first whip that I have to show you today is one you have already seen actually, and this is the Mountains and Seas sweater by Sarah from Sarah Hands Makes. So this is this beautiful purple sweater which I've shown on the channel before, but last time I showed you this I had split for the sleeves and I was working the body and I got into about here. Now I have done the bottom ribbing, which has this beautiful split hem. It's like a staggered split hem, so it's shorter in the front and longer in the back, which I absolutely love. And then I have picked up the sleeves. I have finished one sleeve already and done the 2x2 ribbing on the cuff. And then I have picked up for the other sleeve as well. And I have just started doing the ribbing. We can't really see because it's like literally I've only done like a few rows. But I've just started doing the ribbing on that one as well. So if you hadn't seen this in my previous videos, this is a V-neck raglan style oversized jumper with a split hem and 2x2 ribbing all around. And I am testing this year for Sarah. I feel so honored because this is like one of my first like proper test knits and I'm loving it. The V-neck looks really deep, especially when I try it on, and I'll put in some B-roll so that you can see what it looks like. But obviously that's gonna have some like thicker 2x2 ribbing in it as well. So I'm hoping that'll like cinch it in and make it look a lot less deep, because right now it's looking very deep for my size. And I'm knitting the size 2XL, which is the one suited for my bust size. I have a 123 bust size that can fluctuate depending on what time of month it is. But the sleeves have been working up really quickly, like in about a day of, like if I had a day off I could do about the entire sleeve to where I am now. They are quite tapered sleeves, kind of like what I'm wearing now. It's not like tight, but it is like not an oversized, like my Eva cardigan, like the sleeves are quite like wide, whereas these ones are tapered, which I don't mind actually. At first when I started knitting them and I tried them, I was like, ooh, I don't know if I like them that tight. But then I thought about all of the annoying times that I've tried to like do dishes or tidy up or like just like do stuff that's like wet with my Eva cardigan on, and I can't, you know, do this and it just like slides down, whereas with a more tapered sleeve I can do that, and so it just like makes it a little bit more wearable, I think. And in the sample photo she has it like that as well, so yeah, I'm really loving it. It's really gorgeous. Sorry, the battery just died. I don't know how. Are there extra long batteries that we can get for these cameras? I've got a Sony, like, is there ones that you can get that like last extra long? Because it's so annoying having to like dismount my camera so I can like put the battery in. Anyway, getting back to it. So yes, the yarn that I'm using for this is the Drops Air in colour Sweet Orchid, and it's this beautiful lavender, like light purple, lilac-y purple. It's so beautiful. I'm absolutely obsessed with the colour, and every single time I post it on my Instagram, people are like, wow, what's that yarn? I love that colour, because it is just a stunning colour. It's so pretty. I don't know if it'll even suit my skin tone, but I don't really care because I'm in love with the colour so much. The Drops Air is a combination of 65% alpaca, 28% nylon and 7% wool, and it is like a blown yarn. So you can see there that it is like a blown yarn, so you can kind of play with the gauge a little bit more. This is traditionally like a worsted Aran weight yarn, but I'm using it as a DK because the Mountains and Seas sweater is a DK weight pattern, and I managed to get gauge, and I much prefer like this particular yarn in a smaller gauge. I think it's a good option because this is an oversized jumper. It's going to be a lot lighter with the lighter yarn, but I also think it's good because when I swatched this yarn up for some other projects that I was intending to use it for, it just looked kind of messy because it is very grippy. It's a grippy yarn. It's got that fluff to it where, you know, if you've ever tried to frog back mohair or anything like that, it's got that grippiness to it. So I just felt like when I tried to do more like detailed lacing cable work, it just was looking really messy and I didn't really like it. Whereas like in a smaller gauge, it's kind of like forced to be more neat, and I much prefer that. And it's fluffy and it's nice. I feel like once I block it, it's going to feel a lot softer. It already does feel really soft, and I could see myself using it again. Really have been enjoying it. This pattern calls for a 4mm needle, and so far there haven't been any instructions to go down a size for the ribbing, so I've just been using 4mm needles for the ribbing as well. I don't know if that's what we're meant to be doing. I probably could have asked, but I didn't. But I didn't mind how the 4mm needle looked anyway, so I just left it. If there's no instructions on there, I just left it. Now this is due very soon. What's the day today? It is the 23rd of December. It's the 23rd of December. And this is due on the 28th. Now it's probably the 29th in the US, but it's 29th for me because it'll be the 28th in the US, and we're like almost a day in front. But I want to have this done on the 28th in Australia time. So I've really got to get a move on. So like I said before, I just have to do the ribbing on the sleeve, and then I just have to pick up and do the ribbing for the V-neck, block it, and then I'm done. So hopefully if I, you know, get a wriggle on, I can get that done in time, because I don't want my like first finished test knit to be late. I know Sarah will understand because she's so nice, but I would just feel really bad. Alrighty, so this whip, which I am keeping in my PetiteKnits bag. I absolutely love these bags. I have another one with another whip, which you'll see soon, but they're these gorgeous quilted drawstring project bags. I absolutely love them. She's a maker in Melbourne. So gorgeous, and they have like pockets and everything. Awesome. I'll link them down below. But last time I mentioned this, I only showed you the yarn. now I have almost finished the project. So that would be the Staffen Vest by Creabea or Rybka Clow. This is another test that I'm doing. I signed up for this test, the Mountains and Seas sweater, and then I just decided, yep, I'm going to do another test at the same time because I saw the Staffen Vest when she posted it on Instagram and I was instantly in love because I've just been craving texture recently. And this is what I've got so far. So much. I can't believe like last time you didn't even see this and now I've nearly finished it. But this is what I've got. This is my Staffen Vest so far. So you can see that I've pretty much done the whole thing. The only thing that's left is the ribbing around the collar and the armholes. But everything else is done. And I'm absolutely obsessed with this pattern. It is such a quick knit. I knit this up so quickly. I was also like hyper fixated on it though because I was having so much fun because it has these like awesome textured panels. So you have like this 2x2 ribbing, then you have these little like pearl sections which are called Estonian buttons, and these are really fun. And then you've got like this pearl lattice, and then you just continue the pattern on, and it is a very like potato chippy. Like you just, as soon as you finish like one section, you want to continue on to the next and the next and the next because they're all just very fun and engaging to do. And because this is like I think it's a 14 or 16 stitch gauge, like a worsted weight gauge, you are knitting, like your knitting progresses really quickly. Like it feels like it knits up in no time. A few people in the test knit did originally work with a traditional worsted weight and then had to add a mohair to bulk it out a little bit because the gauge is quite loose. And I think Rebecca Creabea is a bit more of a looser knitter. When I knit this stick season sweater, I met her gauge perfectly. But with this, I tried to knit it with 2 strands of Sadness Gun Sunday in the color Sunny Lime, which is this. And these are like 2 kind of fingering weights, but I thought together that I might be able to get away with it because you use a 5mm needle, but it wasn't enough. When I gauge swatched it up, it just wasn't enough. So I had to bulk it out, and that's why I went and got the little Woollie Makes Lacy Fluff in this chartreuse color, which I think I'm like, in the end, though I didn't want to spend extra money on adding in a mohair, I think it really brightens it up because the Sunny Lime doesn't look dull online, but it is a little bit more dull in person. So I think having this like really like acidic green chartreuse is the color, really brightens it up a bit. So you've got, this is like 100% merino wool and the Sadness Gun Sunday, and this is 70% mohair and then 30% silk. So those are those 2 together, and they make this gorgeous, just absolutely fabulous bright green Grinch lime vest. Like it's very Grinch. Like I didn't mean for this to be Christmas themed, but it is very much a Grinchy green, lovely, fluffy. Like it's fluffy like the Grinch, which I think is so funny. I don't know if you can see that. It's like fluffy like the Grinch. Yeah, I'm absolutely obsessed. I think this will end up being like one of her multi-patterns where she has like the vest and the cardigan and the sweater all together. And as soon as that comes out, oh my god, I'm going to knit that sweater so quickly because I'm just in love with how this looks, how this knits up. I'm obsessed. Now the way that she constructs this, which is like similar to the sweater that I'm actually wearing now, is you start off by knitting the back panel. Like you cast on here at the back, knit the back panel until you get to the underarms, and then you pick up along the side on like the shoulder and then knit the 2 little flaps, connect them in the front, and then you knit down to the sleeves. And then you connect in around and knit the whole thing around. So for like most of the top, you are kind of knitting flat, but I don't really mind it. I know that some people don't like this construction because there are more ends to weave in, and that is a bit of a pain. But personally, I like how the neck shaping ends up fitting on me. I also think because there are smaller sections for you to complete, it feels like you get more, gratification because you're like finishing little sections faster and you get that like positive feedback, and so you just want to like keep going. And I think that works both with the construction and just like having these sections to knit, because as soon as you knit one, you're like, oh, I'm gonna knit the next, and then the next, and then the next, and you just keep going. It's so fun. I think this is also, especially the sweater, I think the sweater version will be a really good alternative for the Ingrid sweater by PetiteKnit, because that sweater is beautiful, and when I saw it, I did want to knit it. However, it's not size inclusive, so I will not be knitting it. So I'm really glad that Creabea came out with something very similar. But I much prefer, I think in the Ingrid sweater there's eyelets. I much prefer these Estonian buttons to the eyelets. I think they are way cuter and they're really easy to do. Nothing like, they're not anything like a bauble. I feel like a bauble always looks kind of messy. These look really clean and they're really quick and easy to do. So Estonian buttons are my new favorite thing. This isn't due to the 8th of January, so I've got quite a bit of time because I kind of just powered on through this, and I've already done the ribbing on the bottom. So the ribbing is 1x1 ribbing, and I just finished that with an Italian bind off, which I love doing because it looks just like really neat, and it looks like it's like it doesn't have like a join, you know. It's like very, very neat. It is time consuming because it's a sewn bind off, so you do have to like, you know, weave or like sew with the entire length that you're going to use for the entire bottom, so that can take a bit of time to do, but I think it's totally worth it in the end because it looks really neat. And so yeah, I only have to do the neck and the 2 sleeves, and I think that'll take no time at all, and I have, you know, a couple of weeks until that's due, so I'm not too stressed about that one. I kind of was in the mindset of like, this was really fun, I was really enjoying it, it was really engaging, and I don't know Rybka personally, and I'm sure she would be fine if I did end up submitting this late. However, I did not, like, that was not an option in my books. Like, I really wanted to make sure that this was on time and that I wasn't stressing about it last minute. But I think that kind of led to me more stressing about my other test knit and doing that one last minute. But anyway, it was the thought that counts. Now, this one is another whip you haven't seen before. Well, actually, if you've been on Instagram, then you have seen these, but I haven't showed them on YouTube on the podcast. But this one was it still is my other Opposites Attract KAL cast-on, my other project. And this is the Ballad Pullover by Sari Nordland. Now, I have had this pattern in my Ravelry library for quite a while. I think I bought it when she had a birthday sale or something like that, and I've been absolutely obsessed with it. I so love it, and I was originally going to knit it up in that Drops Air in a beautiful purple color. Oh, fluff everywhere. However, when I swatched, like I mentioned before, it just did not look nice. It just didn't suit it. It looked kind of funky. I wasn't vibing it, so I kind of put that project, or that idea for that project, on the back burner for a while. But then once we did the Opposites Attract KAL, it got me thinking, because I had this beautiful yarn that I had purchased from Bendigo Woolen Mills when John and I went to Bendigo for the Australian Wool and Sheep Show, and that is this one. This is the Bendigo Woolen Mills Luxury 10-ply in the colour Stone, which is this beautiful greyish colour. It's like a grey beige. And it's so lovely and plump, and I just knew that, like, oh, I think like this isn't a color that I would usually use, as well as I think like the roundness of the yarn would really do the lace work justice. So I did a swatch and I was like, yeah, obsessed, that's what I'm going to use. And so this is how much I've gotten so far. Looks a bit awkward because it's on like a cable that's a bit shorter than it should be, I guess, but this is what I've got so far. The Ballad Pullover is a top-down raglan jumper, and it has lace on like the front and the back and the body, but it's got stockinette for the sleeves, so that's why you can see that the shoulders are just like plain stockinette, but you've got the front here with that beautiful lace pattern, and then that's the back so far with the lace, and it looks so pretty. It's just like lovely flowers, and then you've got sorry, the moss stitch in the middle, and I've just so obsessed with how this is looking. It's so pretty. It's a really interesting construction at the start as well. Like she has you knit the back panel like flat for a bit so that you can create that like neck shaping, but without doing short rows and without interrupting the lace pattern, which I think is like super smart. And on the Ravelry page, she does say that the pattern is quite intuitive, or like it's easy to memorize. At the start, I didn't find it very easy to memorize. I felt like there was a lot involved, so I was having to like sit there. This is definitely one of those projects that you have to like sit and look and read the charts, because all of the lace is charted. There are no written instructions for the chart, for the lace, sorry. It's all charted, and I have no problem reading charts. I feel like charts at the start when I first started learning was very intimidating, whereas like now I actually prefer them. I find them a lot easier to keep track of and to read. But at the start, I was a bit overwhelmed, and I was kind of like, ooh, I don't, like this is going to be very much like a need my full attention to do. And there were like actually one point in which I had stuffed up and done like a purl instead of a knit. But I, you know, after deliberating and speaking with some of the people in my KAL, they were like kind of like, oh, just leave it. You won't even notice it. And thank you so much if you did reply to me in that KAL. I ended up just being like, okay, I'm just going to attempt to like tink down and fix it in the lace with these like increases, decreases, like, oh, these yarn overs. And I actually ended up doing it, and I actually ended up fixing it. So I feel like this has been like a really good test for me to be able to like read my knitting and fix it, because usually I would just be like, nah, I can't do that. I can't fix that. Like, especially when you look at like all this lace work and stuff like that. I was like, how am I going to fix that? But I didn't give up. I persevered and I fixed it, and I'm loving it so far. But I kind of put it down for a bit because, like, again, it's been so busy and my brain's been like flat chats leading up to the Christmas period. So I kind of was getting a bit mentally drained, which is why I kind of moved on to the other smaller opposite attract KAL projects, and then put this one aside for a little bit. But I'm ready once my other two test knits. Once those test knits are done, I'm going to go like full force on this, because I'm just obsessed with how this looks, and I think it'll be super pretty and really good for like the transition months. Like I really want to have this done by like the end of Feb, kind of for my birthday, because I think it'll look really good in autumn, especially with that kind of like leafy flowery motif. And the color as well, like again, it's not a color I would usually pick, but I think it'll do really well at work, because although I like will wear this and like my other colorful stuff at work, sometimes if I'm meeting clients and things like that, I want to be in a more like professional neutral tone, you know, so that I don't look like a kindergarten teacher. Although I love looking like a kindergarten teacher, don't get me wrong, that's like totally my aesthetic, but sometimes I would like to look like a corporate professional. But anyway, yes, so that's what I'm doing so far. And if I didn't mention before, the Bendigo Woolen Mills is 100% superwash merino wool. And the really good thing about Bendigo Woolen Mills as well, this luxury 10 ply and all of their like luxury yarns are super soft, but they also come in 200 gram balls, so you get quite a lot, and they're really good price. They're like something between like $16 and $19 Australian each for 200 grams, and you get so much. And it means like the more that you get, the less you have like ends you have to weave in. And it's just a really good affordable yarn. Like they have a classic, which I've used before. I'm not a fan of the classic. I would definitely spend the extra couple of dollars per ball to get the luxury, because it is so lovely and beautiful, and it's super soft. The only downside with the luxury is that they don't have as large of a color range as the classic, which is really annoying, because I think this is just like so much better than the classic. I feel like they really need to extend the color range in the luxury range. And they have a 4 ply, an 8 ply, and a 10 ply. I have some 8 ply in a beautiful yellow color. I really hope to see in the future they extend their color range in the luxury, because it is so nice yarn for such a good price. Okay, so last but not least, this was a very impulsive purchase, very impulsive cast on. Sometimes I just like get things in my head. I'm like, oh, I have to do that. Like, and I have to do that like right now. And that's what happened to me when Laura Penrose released her Midland neck. It's like a dicky, and it's this beautiful garter stitch, like dicky with like a turtleneck and an I-cord edge around the side, and it just looked so beautiful. I'd been watching her kind of develop it over her podcasts and over her like vlogs and stuff, and I just like immediately knew that's what I wanted to make, and I needed to cast that on. So as soon as she released it, I was like, yep. I was actually in the yarn store, I think, the day that she released it, so I was already in a dangerous environment in which I could purchase new yarn, and unfortunately that's what I did. But it's unfortunately, but not unfortunately, because the yarn is stunning. It was definitely a splurge, a Christmas present to myself, I guess you could say, if I wanted to justify it that way. I feel like I've added a lot of mohair to a lot of projects recently, and that's something I don't usually do. One, because I am sensitive to mohair, which is why I've been incorporating it into vests, but also because it does obviously increase the price of the project dramatically. And I don't want anyone to think that like, oh, you can only, you know, you need to add a mohair to everything. That's not the case. I just really like the fluff, and I do prefer alpaca, but again, it's kind of the same price as mohair at this point. Like, anyway, I don't want to make anyone feel bad just because like I'm adding mohair and this is not very cost effective projects. Because I'm not like a yarn snob. Like, I do prefer to work with natural fibers most of the time, but price doesn't always equal quality. Like, if you pay more doesn't mean it's going to be better, and vice versa. So there are plenty of yarns that I haven't kind of been neutral about, that I paid a lot of money, and then there's plenty of yarns that I paid, you know, like the Bendigo Woolly Mills, not very much, and I'm absolutely obsessed with. So don't feel bad if you're not adding mohair to everything, is what I'm, you know, trying to say. Anyway, moving on. So I really wanted to do something in like hand-dyed variegated yarn. I really wanted this Midland's neck to be like, because I think in her podcast she did one in like a solid color for herself, and then she did one in a hand-dyed speckled yarn for her daughter, and I thought the hand-dyed one looked so pretty, so I knew I wanted to do something with variegation. And when I was in Little Woolies, I saw that they had this Ching Fibre super soft sock, which is a gorgeous blend. It's like I think it's 80% merino, 10% nylon, and 10% cashmere, and I just felt it, and it was so beautiful. And it came in this beautiful color called Cherry Hill, and this is it there, and it's just stunning. It's this beautiful mix of like peachy pinks with fluoros, like it's got yellows and greens, like fluoro greens, but also like foresty browny greens and fluoro yellows and orange, and it's just so beautiful. And I just saw this and thought, oh, that would be divine to make like a Midland neck out of. And then I knew that I wanted to make it fluffy, because in like the Ravelry page, it said that you could pair like a fingering with mohair, or you could do like a DK. It's DK weight gauge is what I'm trying to say. And so I knew I would have to pair something together with it. And I was looking through all of the alpaca, and none of the colors kind of match. And I'm a sucker for a color match. Like, I really want the tones of the yarn to be similar. And the only lace that I could find in there that did match was the Knitting for Olive soft silk mohair. I have never used Knitting for Olive mohair before, but I had heard a few people who had used it who are sensitive to mohair say that they're not so sensitive to this, and then this is one of the only mohairs that doesn't make them itch. So I thought, it is expensive just because it is an expensive yarn, but I was like, I really want that color. Like, that color is perfect, and that color was the poppy rose colorway, and just look how perfect these two paired together. Like, you can see that this is like a lovely peachy pink, and it just is so perfect to go with the Cherry Hill. I couldn't help myself, and I had to pair these together. It was definitely a splurge, but I do not regret it, because when you see how this is knitting up, you're going to be obsessed too, because I'm so obsessed. But it's a bit awkward because I'm currently in the middle of like short rows, so there isn't like really an end. I'm in the middle of a row, but that's just how it is. But this is how it's knitting up so far, and it's so, so beautiful. I am so obsessed with this. Oh, it's so gorgeous. Like, unbelievably soft and squishy, because that garter stitch is so gorgeous. I feel like garter stitch is so underrepresented in garments nowadays. Like, I feel like a lot of seeing a lot of stockinette sweaters, but I hardly see any with garter stitch, and I just think it's so beautiful. And the garter stitch is vertical, so like for example this would be worn like this, and then the garter stitch would go across that way. Then you have like the turtleneck here, which is 1x1 ribbing, I'm pretty sure, that you pick up stitches for, and it's so beautiful and so soft, and I just love how it looks. I am alternating skeins because, as you saw before when I held them both up next to each other, they are quite different, and that just happens with hand dyed yarn. So I wanted to be extra safe. I thought if I'm spending this much money and I'm, you know, wanting to make this special, I might as well put in the effort to alternate skeins. That does mean that it's just a bit of a, you know, cluster mess of yarns because I'm dealing with 4 balls at once, but I think it'll look much better than if I was only to use like one hand-dyed skein at one time, get halfway, have to change to the other, and then just be like a dramatic difference between the two halves of the neck. So I thought, you know, it's worth it. And I think, oh, like she has you do this like faux seam, which looks so good. It matches the I-cord edging so well. And then even like down in the, like around the corners, it's so satisfying with the I-cord. Oh, it's so cool. I just really love it. And I think all of the details, like the interesting part where you like make an I-cord and then you pick up stitches from the I-cord so you can knit across. The different, like the short rows are different. They're not like German short rows. They're slightly different. Make it blend really well with the garter stitch, the faux seam, just all these little details that Laura puts in her designs that I think matter so much, because I think at the end of the day, like the smaller details matter so much, and she just does an excellent job. Yeah, I cannot wait for this to be finished, and I feel like even if it is itchy, I don't care. I'm gonna wear it because it's just so stunning. I'm just obsessed with it. It's just so beautiful. It's so squishy and so delicious, and I'm just in love with it. So in love with it, especially with that, like it's got that cashmere and then you got the mohair. It's super luxurious, and I can just see myself wearing this even with what I'm wearing now, like just like wearing it over this, or I've got like a bright green coat I can wear it with. It's just so beautiful, and the colors are stunning. Yeah, really enjoying this. I could see myself making another one, maybe just in a standard DK as well, because the garter stitch is just so squishy and I really love garter stitch. So that's really great. For the main part, you knit with 4.5mm needles, and then for the ribbing around the neck, it's 3.5mm needles. I'm interested to see, I think she has 2 options actually for the neck. She has like a more slouchy, looser neck and then a tighter neck. And I like that she gives you recommendations on, depending if you're like, if you've got a high wool content in your yarn, to do the more slouchy neck, or if you've got like a more looser, drapier yarn, to do the tighter neck. I like that she gives that advice in there, because I wouldn't know which one to pick, to be honest. So I'm glad that she gives that advice. Yeah, super loving it. The Midland neck is a really good, kind of interesting knit. Like it's more complex than you'd think, but it's not difficult. It's just, it's interesting because they're kind of techniques that I've never used before. Yes, so that wraps up the whips. Now I've only got one acquisition, because technically that was an acquisition, but I've already utilized it in a project, so it's not a standalone acquisition. I only have one acquisition. I'm sure I'll have plenty to show you after Christmas in the next one, because I know that John visited the yarn store and got me some things, so I'm excited to see what he picked out. I'm always curious to know what he thinks that I would like, so I'm very curious to know what that is. But anyway, my one acquisition has a little bit of a story behind it. Like I said before, I caught up with some knitting friends. We went out for dinner and we did like a Bird Santa, white elephant kind of situation, where we each bought like a mini skein, or like a little mini yarn mini or something's fiber related, and we, like, the whole kind of purpose behind White Santa is that you like you can steal like presents of other people, and then they have to then either like choose a new present or steal another one. And so I ended up stealing this beautiful mini skein of Spun Right Round in the color Dahlia or Dahlia, depending on how you say it. And it was so beautiful. It's like this gorgeous like pinky, orangey, blue, lavender. It was just amazing, and everybody wanted it. Everyone stole it, and I got stolen off me twice. I was so devastated. I was like, no, I really, really want it. And I had been eyeing off that colorway in the store actually for a while, and after seeing that mini, I was like, yeah, that's it. I've got to go get some. So when I was in the yarn store earlier in the week, I was like, yep, I'm gonna get myself a full skein of this, and this is what it looks like. Holy moly. Isn't that just the most stunning color you've ever seen in your entire life? So this is the Tough Sock by Spun Right Round, which is a base I love. I love Spun Right Round. It is 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon. You get about like 130 meters or something in these, and oh, it's just stunning. So you see you've got those, like you've got the orange, and you've got the purples, the pinks, the lavenders, the reds. Oh, it's just stunning. It's just so beautiful. Like the blues. It is just such a fascinating colorway. I have not seen anyone knit anything with it yet, but I just am obsessed with it. Obsessed. And I'm definitely going to be making myself just like a plain vanilla sock, something to really show off the colors. And I know it's just going to be stunning. Oh my god. Yeah, stunning. Cannot wait. I love Spun Right Round. I feel like their colorways speak to me like no other. So beautiful. And I've used the sock base before and I love it. So I cannot wait to knit these up, but I'm trying really hard not to, because I have so many socks that I have to finish. So I gotta put down, Ashley, put down. Okay, don't wind it up. Anyway, that brings us to the end of the podcast. Thank you so much for sticking around. I have been, this year has been so crazy that it has had such high highs and such low lows, and definitely sharing all of my knitting and growing this community and interacting with you guys has been the highest of highs. So thank you so much for being here. Like, if you're subscribed or not subscribed, either way, you really make an impact on my life, and I'm so grateful for it. If you're not celebrating Christmas or you celebrate other holidays, I wish you a happy holidays. I wish you like a safe and peaceful and love-filled end of your year and new year going into 2025. Really great time to kind of reflect on the year and see how far I've come, like the mental health journey that I've been on, and I always appreciate you guys. You've always been super supportive, so lovely. I feel so grateful every day that everyone that, comments down below has just been so lovely. Just like, it's been, beyond amazing. So thank you. Thank you very much. I very much appreciate it. I will probably see you in the new year. So have a great new year. If you're not already subscribed, feel free to subscribe. Like I said before, you can check out, all my project updates and things like that on my Instagram. And just take care of yourself. Be kind to yourself. That's one thing I want to end this video with, is be kind to yourself. Alrighty, thanks guys. I'll see you later. Bye.